deepen in relationship with you and in relationship with others. We just really pray for this time where we're speaking about discipleship and looking at the way that you discipled us, Lord, the way that you call us to be your own. We just pray that we could be like you in the ways that we disciple others. Just pray that your Holy Spirit would be moving in us throughout this talk and over this afternoon. We thank you for the gift of our community. We thank you for all those who've discipled us so beautifully, all those who have drawn alongside us and taken us under their wing. And we pray for all those who we're currently discipling, all those who need to know of your love. We just really pray for an openness in our hearts to any way that you might want to speak to us today. We give this time into your hands, Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, so this talk is called Formation Through Relationships. It's basically how Jesus forms us and asks us to form others. Basically, when I was looking through this talk, I was thinking back through all the different relationships I've had. So when we talk about discipleship, when we talk about drawing others into the love of God, when we talk about being drawn into the love of God ourselves, sometimes we could think that it's like a program, or like even if you're in formation at the moment, or you're going through a discipleship program, you might think, well, I've got to study this and then I've got to study that and then I've got to read the Bible, I've got to do this, do that. But I think what this talk is really trying to talk about is to talk about the power of relationship as part of our discipleship journey. So as much as intellectual formation is really important and crucial, and studying the Bible and coming along on mission, I think what I was thinking about as I was praying through this talk is the importance of relationship in all of those aspects as well, if that makes sense. So that Jesus formed his disciples one by one and through relationship with them, and that's the model that we're to follow. When we're wanting to be more when we're wanting to be discipled, like to seek out relationship with other people, and when we're wanting to disciple others, to do that through relationships. So that's pretty much the key takeaway of the talk today. And I have got a couple of little questions at the end. I won't talk for too long, and then I just wanted to have a bit of a discussion at the end. So mainly, as I'm going through this talk, I'd love you to think about, well, who has discipled you, particularly through this relational dimension, okay? And who is the Lord calling you to disciple? And I'm always very practical when I give talks, it's not just here to have a nice time, but to think about, well, in the year ahead, or as we take stock over how the Lord's calling us, well, who are we supposed to position ourselves next to? Because something that I was thinking a lot about in this talk is that being in relationship with people requires presence. So you actually have to be present alongside them, and it takes a bit of intentionality too. Like, how am I going to be present alongside that person that I want to disciple, or how am I going to be present alongside that person that I want to disciple me? So presence, proximity, something we talk a lot about in Sydney North here, that we're, some of us are close to one another, but the people that we're close to by proximity, either because we work with them, because we live near them, they're in our parishes maybe, we have a real opportunity, or we need to create that proximity for that to happen. And the third thing that I was thinking about in my reflections was position as well. So sometimes because of your position, like Matt's a branch leader, that will open up different opportunities. I'm a leader of a ministry in DOJ with summer school. That will open up different positions, possibilities for me to disciple people. All of you have different positions and you're placed in certain roles. Bella's a teacher, for example, TD's doing some work in aged care at the moment. So whatever that position that you've been given gives you unique opportunity to disciple those people. And that's also a case of proximity as well. It's very similar to the proximity. So that's who, you can think all day, like brainstorm, well, I'd love to disciple more people. Show me where to go, Lord. But the thing might be that they're right in your own life. Those of you online, it might be your own families, your grandchildren, We're seeing at the moment a lot of young people. I know a lot of your kids do still go to church, some of them don't, but we're seeing a lot of conversions through grandparents. The faithfulness of grandparents, it's actually skipping a generation. So Gen Z is coming back to the church, and often it's through online, like the algorithm, and it's through faithfulness of grandparents and witness of grandparents, and then they'll just cold call a church and be like, I'm here, I want to be baptized, kind of thing. And that's the two ingredients, is internet and online kind of evangelization, and the faithfulness, the witness of the bygone generation. And it doesn't even matter that their parents have kind of not embraced it, it's just the witness of the grandparents. So they're the three things I was really thinking about when I was like where I'm going to end up with us to have a bit of a think about, is presence, proximity, and position as well, and how we can build relationships through that. So hopefully that's going to be a good talk for us and a good piece in the puzzle of our formation series at the moment. Okay, so the reason why we form people through relationships is because this is how Jesus did. So Jesus forms us through his presence, through intimacy and community. So when we're doing this, it's exactly how Jesus did it as well. So Jesus forms through his presence. So he literally lived amongst his disciples. He shared meals, he shared stories, he shared his struggles. Okay, so for all of us, that's an invitation to do the same. Is we can't imagine that, that's an integral part of forming people and discipling them, is living amongst them. And I think the thing that I see when I see that word struggles as well is maybe vulnerability. That I think in this day and age when authenticity is a big factor for people, is that I think that leaders and disciples, we can sometimes think, well, I have to make my life look perfect, otherwise no one's going to want to be a Christian. But the opposite is actually true, and I see it all the time in our secular world and in the church, that when you share a little bit of your humanity or a little bit of your vulnerability, that can actually be the connection point. And often it's the part that you try to hide, but sometimes when we just be ourselves, warts and all, that actually makes us more relatable and more able for people to approach us than if we try and look like we've got the perfect life altogether, that there's something that is really good about our struggles. And I think that I saw that in the life of Jesus too, that he invited his disciples to share with him his good moments, his harder moments. They saw him in all of that. So with Jesus, he didn't start I got a little outline for my talk, and it said he didn't start a classroom, he didn't build an institution, he built relationships, and in those relationships people were transformed. Okay, so that was the way that he went about it. He didn't just preach to people, but he lived with them, and they were looking at him. They were looking at how he lived his life. He listened to them, he answered their questions, he laughed with them, he cried with them, and he shared life with them. Okay, so it says that scholars estimate that Jesus may have spent 70 to 80% of his public ministry with the 12 and those closest to him. So, it says if you read the Gospels closely, Jesus spends very little time speaking to crowds compared to the enormous amount of time he spends with his disciples. So it's something for us to think about, especially those of us, in ministry, or thinking the ultimate leader or the ultimate missionary is someone on a stage with a spotlight on them. It's actually not true. And even the missionaries that do get a spotlight on them every now and then, it's such a small proportion of their life compared to eating meals and being with people. And Jesus was the same. Okay, that was the summit, maybe the high point, or the pointy end of his ministry was where he was there in front of lots of people. But I'm becoming more and more and more convinced about this myself, is it's the undercurrent of the work that's being done. Even last week we were at ACYF, and one of the things that my discerning brain thinks a lot about is major events. They take a lot of time, they take a lot of resources. I think they're worth it, but I also know that event was 2 days, literally 2-3 days, and it has a big impact on these young people's lives, so it's very much worth doing. But when I was in that room with 6,000 young people from all around Australia, I was just thinking, do you know who the real MVPs are? Is the people that brought these young people here. And because they're going to be the people that are with those young people for the next year or 2 or 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? And as like all the groups are coming around to our stall, I asked one girl who's her favourite saint, and she couldn't name a saint because she was obviously too like green in her faith. But she said, "Oh, it's my." And I said, "Well, who's someone that inspires you in her faith?" And she goes, "Oh, my teacher." And it turns out I actually knew her teacher, and I was like, "Oh, really? Tell me about that. What inspires you about?" And because he's discipling the people at his school, and he's bringing them to Jesus, and he was told he could have 6 places of kids at ACYF, and he's like, "I'm bringing my own bus, we're getting 30." And so like, and I just kind of thought, well, that's the kind of discipleship he's living day in, day out with these girls in that position of a teacher. And it kind of, and I'm into big events, you know I am, but I also feel like you just can't replace those day-to-day relationships, and the way that forms these young people. It gives that solid basis so that when you do something like an ACYF or a summer school, it's just kind of lighting up what's already present. So I think Jesus, was no different, that he had to spend that time with his disciples, and that's why they were so on fire with the Holy Spirit when the Holy Spirit came, is because Jesus had been preparing and walking with them. He'd been doing the hard yards with them and sharing his life with them. That's how they were able to be so like him. Okay, so that's kind of first point. Second point is that the word became flesh as well. So I really love this scripture for us at the moment. We're in Advent, we're preparing for Christmas. Jesus has come to be with us. Okay, so the gospel begins with this stunning proclamation that the word became flesh and dwelt among us. It's as though God was moving into our neighborhood, okay? He was coming close to us. He wasn't doing it from far away. And like I was saying before, he lived among his people. He ate, he traveled, he rested, he prayed, he faced rejection with them, okay? So he was right with them. And this is how Jesus still forms his disciples, okay? So he draws near, he accompanies us, and he shares life with us. He stays with us, and he's faithful to us. And he places us in community because his presence often comes through other people as well. So that's why we need others around us, because they're able to minister the presence of Jesus to us as well. So a really important point for us, that Jesus has come to be with us. And if we're discipling others, where are we living? Okay, who are we eating with? Who are we traveling with? Who are we pitching our tent amongst? And who is God calling us to do that for, if that makes sense? Okay, so really importantly as well is that Jesus calls us friends. Okay, so when Jesus came to be with us, it wasn't to show us a better way. It wasn't to be all high and mighty and to be like, well, you're not doing it right. He did it from within. Okay, he didn't do it from a position of power and prestige. Okay, he didn't. He came to show us the way. I've kind of said the opposite before, but he didn't do it like, he did it from within. He did it from within relationship. He didn't do it to lord it over people. He called us friends. Okay, and so I think this is the basis of our evangelization as well, of friendship evangelization, that Jesus has invited us into the deepest possible relationship, which is friendship with God. Okay, so that's what's on offer for us through friendship with Jesus, and that's what we're able to draw others into as well when we're in relationship with them. Okay, so and it's the basis of our own relationship with God as well. So if we're going to be faithful disciples, it's remaining faithful to that primary friendship, which is friendship with Jesus, which is nurtured through prayer, scripture, and mission as well. So joining alongside Jesus in his work, that we're working together with him in the harvest, if that makes sense. Okay, so something that I've been big on from the get-go of this talk was, that was the second point of that. So friendship with God. So it's rooted in intimacy and conversation and sharing our life with Jesus. Okay, so a bit like that scripture that, apart from me, you can do nothing. Okay, so abide in me. Don't be separated from the vine can't be separated from the branches, and vice versa. Okay, so to remain in Jesus, that's our primary call as disciples. Okay, but this transformation comes through relationship. So if we want transformation for ourselves and for other people, it's through relationship, because it's ultimately through their relationship with Jesus that we're trying to draw them into. So the disciples were changed because they saw Jesus. They watched how he treated the poor. They felt his compassion. They saw close up his patience, his stories, his forgiveness, his courage, his mercy, and that was what enabled them to be like him. So when we're doing formation, it's not learning about Jesus, but it's learning to live with Jesus and to be like him. And this is always going to involve other people as well. Okay, so that, like I said before, that we're drawn into community because it helps us to live this life of Jesus. Okay, so it says in Acts 2 that the first Christians devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of the bread and to prayers. Okay, so that's why our community is so important, because this relationship is the basis of the foundation of our faith as well. So the disciples weren't in isolation, they were disciples in communion, and we shape each other. So when we're in community with one another, we kind of catch each other's attitudes. Like, you'll notice that different groups that you're a part of have a particular attitude. Like, in DOJ, like in this branch we're pretty punctual actually, but like in other branches it's like, the DOJ thing is like we're always a little bit late, or we're relaxed, or it's got the culture of maybe a family rather than a workplace, if that makes sense. So how you speak in and treat people in this intergenerational community, I would imagine is very different from how even how you might at your parish. Like, in your parish you might be a bit more formal with people, you might not be so at home with other people. In your workplace, I would think that your relationships would maybe look different to how they do here. So we catch each other's attitudes, we absorb their priorities. So when we're all for something, we all get behind it, okay? And we encourage each other in what the important things are. We imitate their behaviour. So even like the Underway Covenant members, we have a group chat. One person wishes someone happy birthday, everyone else wishes that person happy birthday. So we're kind of in it together. So even if I've forgotten, I actually forgot your birthday, Matt, sorry, I'm so bad with birthdays. But yeah, I was on retreat, I was in Silencio. But it's the whole thing, right, is that because we're on the group chat together, if I've forgotten about someone, but someone else is reminding me and sending a message with a life update of someone else, or, giving me an update about somebody else, it prompts me, oh, that's important, okay, that's one of my brothers and sisters, and encourages me to be in relationship with them. So we imitate each other's behaviour, our strength. Their faith strengthens our faith. So recently we went to the community weekend up at the Cantrells, and I hadn't been to your house before, Chris and Margaret, and was hearing all about their stories and just hearing about Chris's journey through sickness and into health. And what's the matter?
Oh no, just talking to Celine about one of Margaret's stories.
Oh, cool.
Margaret and the police.
Oh yeah, so it's great stories that we're sharing. But I was thinking about, totally, on the motorbike. Is that the one? Yeah. Great stories. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking of the more recent times, though. I was really touched by Chris's faith and just seeing the difficult journey that has happened over the last little while, and just seeing that I've never seen Chris come to a gath or anything without like a big smile on his face, and just the way that that I've seen your faith kind of really shining through. So I think that's the beauty of community, is you see people in all different circumstances. We've seen different members go through sickness, through difficult times, through hardships, and just to see your faith in those times. And maybe when people have been struggling, they've needed to come to the gathering to receive the faith and encouragement of others as well. So we sort of inspire each other by being in community, and our witness challenges our comfort as well. So when we evangelize others, or I see someone else on mission or doing something, it inspires me to evangelize others as well. We love each other, and that has a healing effect on each other, and being present together supports our journey, that we don't become holy alone, okay? So that we need each other in order to become holy, if that makes sense. Okay, so how does Jesus, I already said that we're shaped by others. Okay, so Jesus wants to form us today, so by being in relationship with us. So I guess this time of Advent is a time, I was watching a Father Mike Schmidt's video the other day, and he was saying it's a time to make room for Jesus. So an invitation for each of us as we approach our Advent, and he was saying it's often at this really busy time of year where life is really busy, but he's saying it's not Lent where you have to say no, you know, you're not giving up things necessarily, but in the same way as Lent, but he was encouraging a few little no's so that you can say a bigger yes to Jesus. Like he's saying you don't have to say yes to every single party. You can say no to one of them and have a bit more space in your life. He was saying you don't have to say yes to every single invitation of food, offer of food that you get. You can say no to a few little things, and that will leave some space for Jesus. So in our lives today, that we're called into that relationship. Advent's a beautiful time to take stock of that relationship. How's our prayer going? How are we making room for Jesus? How aware are we of the Holy Spirit in our day? Are we seeking out times of stillness and silence? Is our relationship with the Lord flowing well, or have we allowed the relationship to grow distant because we've been busy, we've been preoccupied? Okay, so that's some of the ways that Jesus forms us today. So firstly through relationship with himself, with relationship with community. So obviously a really practical outliving of this talk is, well, what do my relationships look like in the community, and who's the Lord calling me to be close to? Who's the Lord calling me to have relationships, and how am I to do that? So some examples is to share meals, to pray with each other, to speak honestly with each other, and to say when we've upset each other or when we have misunderstood, to come and to be honest with each other, to give encouragement to each other, to challenge each other as well and call each other on, to offer forgiveness and to carry each other's burdens, so that we model that love of Christ by being present in each other's lives as well. And the last point on this slide is about mentors. So obviously we need people to be mentoring and being with us. Jesus had the 12, Paul had Timothy. We need people ahead of us on the journey that can call us out. So those of us in disciples of Jesus have a discipler, and I guess it's just being really open to that person speaking into our lives, and to really making the most of those relationships with our sharing groups as well. And people not in DOJ, it's the same kind of idea, is who is mentoring us, who we're opening up our lives to, to be who we're in relationship with, to be able to be more like Jesus. All right, so just the last couple of points, and then I'll just give us a few minutes of some discussion. I've got a few examples, then some discussion. So some of the practical takeaways from today is to not live the life alone. So we're really the Christian life alone. Don't walk alone. We actually had a girl say that to us when we went on street evangelization. We were like, oh, do you need healing for anything? Are you into faith? Or I forget what the question was. And her classic comeback was, she's like, no, I walk alone. And that was what she said. She thought she was so cool. She's like, I walk alone. Well, we don't walk alone. We know that that's not a good thing. Out there in the world, that kind of individuality and independence is really praised, because it's I don't need no one. Whereas, our song's like, Lord, I need you. We need each other. So we don't walk alone. So it's a good time to ask ourselves, about our relationship with Christ, like I was saying before, how we foster our spiritual friendships, and who we're discipling, who we're reaching out to as well. To prioritise presence over productivity as well. So how present are we to people, and how can we bring the gift of our presence into our relationships as well? And how to invite Jesus into the ordinary moments, so that there's lots of invitations in each day, in the car, washing the dishes, conversations at work, moments when we're exhausted, little acts of service. There's so many little opportunities given to us every single day to minister Jesus in really ordinary encounters. So let's be open to those, in our lives as well. And a couple of other points, just before I finish up, was to let others see your real life. So a bit like Jesus, he let people kind of see his life. He wasn't scared. He literally lived amongst his kind of disciples, and let people watch you, in all of your moments, to respond when you're frustrated, how you treat those who annoy you, how to apologize when you're wrong, how to show compassion when you're tired. So it requires a little bit of vulnerability. As I was looking at this part, it was actually reminding me of when I invited Bella to come on mission with us in Adelaide earlier this year, because I was like torn between two options. I was like, okay, I really want to invite Bella to come on mission with us, but then I was like, but I'm like running the mission and she'll be living with us. And I was like, I normally what if I get really stressed and she sees me like under pressure, or like, what if she sees me like being a bit crazy? But I was just like, I'm just going to risk it. And I was like, all right, Bella, do you want to come on mission with us? And she said yes. And, but I kind of had to take that risk of like Bella seeing us at our worst or our best, and I was just like, I'm just going to take the risk. But I think it paid off, but I don't know anyway. Talk to Bella after and see if it paid off. You're still here. You're still here. But I was like apologising, but I was like, this is going to be such a crazy mission. I'm so sorry. But it was just like baptism of fire, because I was like, you're literally living with the organiser of the event. There's no sugarcoating this mission at all. You're right in the heart of where it's all happening. But I think that, I don't know, again, ask Bella if that worked out well, but that was sort of what was on my mind, is like, part of me wanted to be like, oh, just come to the mission when I know it's going to be perfect and I'm going to be at my best all of the time. But part of me was just like, just come into the reality of this situation and you're going to see us at our best and our worst potentially. That's the risk that I'm taking by, wanting you to come and see what this life of discipleship is all about. Okay, so let others see your real life, be vulnerable, and make room for spiritual friendship. So let's be open to opportunities, to share our life with others. So Jesus wants to form us through friendship, presence, and sharing life together. So ultimately, our life as a Christian disciple is a relationship with a person who loves us deeply, and to walk the journey together with others who are going to help us to grow. That he no longer calls us servants, but he calls us friends, and we're invited to walk with him really closely and courageously, and to be formed into his image through love and communion and relationship with others as well. So when I was thinking about this examples in my own life, and I was thinking about those three words, presence and position and proximity, I was thinking about one of the people that discipled me was on a pilgrimage, and I've been watching people this year going off on pilgrimage and thinking what's so special about pilgrimage and the relationships that you have is often that sense of presence, that you're not going anywhere. Normally in life you're, there's a sense that people can be quite busy and kind of scattered. But I think when I've been on pilgrimage, I've noticed that they're really special times of relationship with the Lord, definitely because you're praying, but with each other as well. So that was something that was just standing out to me, is that presence and creating those moments of presence, like kind of what we do when we go away on the community weekend. But it was just on my mind, like that pilgrimage and travel is one of those opportunities for that. I was also thinking about ministry, so summer school, DSM Lights, different ministries that I've been a part of, Fire Weekend. It gives you that position to be in relationship with others. So summer school is probably the one that's front of mind at the moment. But even DSM, like I was at team training, or team training was at our house, came to us last week, and there was a girl in the chapel, Miriam, who I'd done, she was invited onto one of my DSM teams about 18 months ago, and she was looking for someone to catch up with. KK wasn't around. And I just said, I can catch up with you if you like. And it didn't end up working out, but I just kind of thought, oh, wow, God, like you've put me into that position. And so I've been able to be in relationship with lots of people because of that position on that team. There's lots of MGL brothers that have done ministry with me, and I've now got relationships with a lot of different people because of those ministries as well. And I'm in a position to disciple people through that as well. And the last one I was going to share about was the power of proximity. So in our parish and our neighbourhood, a lot of you know we've only got one neighbour, and that's like the Ransoms, Emma and John and Donna. And we've been there for like 5 years, and we've taken it really seriously. We're like, we've got one neighbour, we've got to do this really well. And so, to disciple them and to use that proximity that we have, and the same in our parish as well. We've just gotten involved in Alpha, and we've been able to disciple some people through relationship, and just finding that in the local area that there's something of an opportunity to do that as well. So yeah, they're just some of my examples, but I wanted to throw to you just for about 10 minutes for some questions as well. So I'll give you some time to think, and then we might share with one another. If you're sitting with someone, those that are online, or we'll just grab a partner in the room. So how have you been blessed by relationship-based discipleship? So give some examples. That's number one. So kind of thinking about in your own life, how has that blessed you? And number two, how might the Lord be calling you to take advantage of opportunities for your presence, position, or proximity to be in relational discipleship with others? So as we finish the year and look to the next year, maybe you can share some of the ways that you have done that this year, or maybe, how can you take advantage more of the opportunities that you're given. So yeah, just have a few minutes just to reflect, and then in a couple of minutes I'll just get you to share with someone some of your experiences we can share together. It's just because Chris is downstairs. So if you're in the room here, maybe just find a partner that you can share. If you're with someone online, obviously that's fine. But Sulin's going to just open up a breakout room if anyone wants to partner up with someone as well. Hopefully that's pretty clear, or just pop it in the chat if you're not sure. So we were thinking, Marg, if you're on your own, and if Marie is there, we're going to just see if you wanted to go into a breakout room together, if that's going to work. If that doesn't work, just reflect on it on the question. Cool. And then we can share. Do you think they know the question?
You've done all the sharing, so you
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking with more, but that's okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so the first one is sharing that.
In the relationship.
Oh no, that's it. Also a host.
Another presentation today, so I'll invite Therese Doe just to start getting ready for that. Yay!
Bring all these people back.
So have we got another? They're waiting. They've got 60 seconds. So is there one more talk next week to finish off that series, Matt? So do you know what it is?
Yes, Rachel's giving it. And I think it's on mission or something. I don't know the titles.
Perfect.
Do you have it there, Celine?
All right. Mission and witness. So yeah, we'll be finishing off this series. So hopefully my little contribution today was thought-provoking and good for everyone. And I kind of felt like it dovetailed nicely into that discipleship series we did earlier in the year, the one with Caesar. So thanks for that, Matt. It's been a great year. So let's make Therese feel really welcome. It's Child Protection Sunday today, so we're just redoing our child protection policy and hearing a little bit about that from Therese, who's on our branch council. So let's make her feel welcome. Yay! Oh, sorry, Tim.
Thanks, Bernard, for your talk. That's amazing. Give her another. Yeah, I love being authenticity and vulnerability. Or it's a big challenging, isn't it?
So sorry.
Thank you.
I'm
Just
having some issues.
yeah. Take your time, Sulin. Don't worry. So I just believe that the Lord still bless us because we already pray a lot. So no need to do any pray because we very short in time. And while we're waiting for Sulin open the PowerPoint, I just wanna say something because of the very short time. So not gonna do a big talk in the presentation. So we're just reading quickly all about our policy in the DOJ policy for child protection, and then Matt gonna send out a code of conduct online for everyone to sign on that, and also the policy again as well in that, so everyone can read it again and make sure that we're gonna do a great job in our ministry or wherever we go in or our path of life. So yeah, I got this one. And then at the end of the talk, this one we're gonna do a little bit of drama, case study. So we're gonna do a role plays. So be ready. So I'm gonna ask you to volunteer for some drama. So this presentation is from Kel. Is that yeah? Kel Simon is from the South for whole DOJ because from our North branch that we have quite old policy. So this one is the new one update, 2021 before COVID, I reckon. So this one just the first one is definitions about all the abuse in to know about child protection and recognize the situation in abuse situation, and the DOJ policy, and the third one Q&A. So we can say Q&A is like a role plays at the end for us. So what are the 7 types of abuse? So physical, psychological, emotional, verbal, spiritual, cultural, and financial, sexual, and technological. So before saying that, from the 10th of December this month, in the next 3 days, this year, Australia is the first country in the world that have the amendment to the Online Safety Act, raising the minimum age for the social media account from the 13 to 16 of age. So that means all the children under 16, they have no, accounts for the online social media like TikTok, Facebook, and lots of the other Twitter, YouTube and Instagram, everything. So Australia, the first country, even with the parental consent, the parents cannot give the consent to allow children under 16 to have the account. So that means, a lot of like strict rules in every school now. I think that's a good thing for children. Okay, so we're gonna go quickly burn everything out. So we're gonna take turn. Can you start it with?
Start it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so the ACLS, the Australian Catholic Safeguarding Limited, recognises that abuse, particularly within ministry and service relationships, is often rooted in imbalances of power and vulnerability. These relationships inherently involve power dynamics where one person may have authority or influence over another, making them vulnerable to abuse.
Donna?
Abuses of power means the abuse of position, function, or duty to take advantage of another.
Yeah, please.
Go for it.
Abuse of power. This can take many forms and include situations where a person has power over another person by virtue of their relationship.
Example?
Employee.
What, yeah, sorry.
Employer, employee, teacher and student, coach and athlete, parent or guardian and child, / clergy, religious and parishioner, and uses that power to their advantage.
Yeah.
So Rachel?
Who is vulnerable, a child and adults, who are elderly, with a disability, who suffer from mental illness, who have diminished capacity, who have cognitive impairment, who have suffered previous abuse, who are experiencing transient risks, who in receiving a ministry are subject to a power imbalance, who identify as First Nations and or Indigenous, who are from a culturally and linguistically diverse background, who are of diverse sexuality, who have any other impairment or adversity that makes it difficult for them to protect themselves from abuse.
So culture required by church and state and 10 standards. The 10 standards will be in our policy. So it's something like the committed relationship leadership, the governs culture, and children. Number 2, children are safe, informed, and participate. The third one is partnering with the families, carers, community, and the 4th is equity in the promoted. The promoted diversity is respected, and human resources management, effective complaint management, ongoing education and training, safety, physical online environment. So this one is this year changing as well because of the rules government on the 10th of this month. So it's gonna be the online safety is changing. The rules they changing every year, all the language they use and everything in the child protection every year. So back in the day they used like adult at risk, but now they use like a vulnerable people, or they use a vulnerable people and now they use adult at risk. So number 10 policy and the support child safety. So it's 10 standards will be in our policy, so we can read it again and again.
And reflect on it. That's right.
So transparency, accountability, and awareness of risk. We go to. So I'm gonna go quickly. This one is our policy. So this one the content of whole policy. So we just keep going. We might read. I think. Okay. Yes. Paul, please. Is that too? I think I'm gonna just go through quickly. This one no need to read it because you will have this one on your email. Matt gonna send it again. So this one, the 2 adult rules. So this one is basically something when you go into the environment that the children under age, that you better to have 2 adults in the like for example, you go into a room somewhere like here in this college, this Campion college. So you get into some area like kitchen, and that's the public area. But if some student talk to you and you find out if they underage, you wouldn't ask how old they are. But if you guess or you're afraid about, so it's better to have the open place, like public place, or go into the car with the children. You have to have the permission of the parents, so you can't take the children underage on your car except you have two people, like two adults, or in the the dangerous situation or something like the children at risk. They need to go to a hospital, and you need to ask for permission because that in the moment they're in danger of life. So, but we're gonna go more about that, detail about that later. So lots of things I will not, and I will hold our policy. And before you start a code of conduct, please read through this one again, and to know what we're gonna do. What is our in our DOJ, that all our policy about that I will do and I will not. So
Yeah. Oh wow.
that's a lot, yeah. But it's good to have that understanding and aware about the situation and where we're gonna be doing military. Right, this one very important. So this one is if you encounter in any situation in ministry or even here in this place where our do a worship place or at mass in the chapel, or even when we go to community fun weekend or somewhere else in the house of someone, and then we have fun nights or community fun night or activity, we still have to be aware about all the situation, the people, the vulnerable people, and underage children as well. So if you have any question, just ask me or Matt.
Sure.
There, that's a promise from you. Okay.
Great.
Right, so it's the end of the presentation. Before we go into this, could you please open the file, the listening to the confidential. Yeah, while we're waiting for Sulin, actually the what we do and we don't do is this something I make it short and easy for everyone, make understanding the situation. But this one is only listening to a confidential disclose. So we have a lot of different behavior when working with children and with vulnerable people, because we have the appropriate boundary with the children and vulnerable people, management of working with children, and the physical contact with children and communication with children and the vulnerable people. So this one is only listening to the confidential disclose. So, yep. Matthew, can you please read this one?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can read
Yep,
it.
thank
So,
you.
when listening to a person under 18, things to do are stay calm and listen with care, believe them and affirm their courage, reassure, like you did the right thing telling me, speak in simple, age-friendly language, explain your duty of care, and I may need to share this with someone who can help keep you safe, follow your organization's child safety and reporting procedures, and report immediately if there is any risk of harm or abuse. Example to police, the Department of Communities and Justice, Child Protection Helpline, etc. Record their exact words, so no interpretation, and make sure they feel supported and safe.
So can you make it down a little bit to read this one? Report immediately. Though, so they had the name. They changed the name this year. Is the Department of the Communities and Justice. It's the old one. It's like Child Protection Office or something. And now they changed. It's a new name with the. So we're gonna have the training later, case studies to see where the situation we call them with the 132 and double ones and all triple zero. So we're gonna do it later. Okay. Greg, please, can you read the dom?
Yeah, when listening to a person, don't. Which one do you want me to read? You want me
Don't.
to read the don't? Or?
Yeah. Up here.
Okay, don't promise full confidentiality. Don't ask leading questions. Don't investigate. That is not your role. Don't show shock, anger, or disbelief. Don't minimize or question their experience. Don't confront the alleged offender. Don't delay reporting.
So this one is like don't promise to full confidentiality. That means someone might tell you about they had abuse and like whoever in the family had, for sexual abuse. So, and they say, oh, don't tell everyone, and because my dad gonna kill me if you say that, and you can't keep promise to them that I wouldn't tell anyone. Or the leading questions that tell me what did he do, or tell me more what was happened. Like you can't go deeper in the detail and that. You just get as much as the information in that situation, like yes no question. Yeah. Are there anybody else involved or in that, something like that? So you ask them the yes no question, no leading situation. Yeah, questions. Right. Matt, please, for the listening.
When listening to a person over 18, they're adults, this is what you must do. Listen respectfully and without judgment. Affirm their courage to speak. Set confidentiality boundaries, such as this stays private unless someone is in danger. Keep confidentiality except when safety is at risk. Offer support pathways, counselling, spiritual direction, supervision. Encourage seeking professional and additional help if needed.
So you
And document according to your organisation's policy.
which mean now DOJ policy.
Yep.
Yeah. John, Bernard.
Me.
Yes.
Don't share their story without consent unless safety requires it. Don't promise secrecy you cannot keep. Don't act as a counsellor, lawyer, or investigator. Don't pressure them to act before they're ready. Don't make assumptions or fill in missing details. Don't ignore self-harm risks or danger signs.
Yeah. So we're gonna go down with a helpful, supportive phrases. Something. Thank you for trusting me with this. You are not alone. I'm here with you. You are not in trouble. You might need to talk to someone who can help keep you safe. Let's take this step together. So yeah, or something you have to say that you with your situation, I have to report for the people of organization, the leadership of summer school or Light to the Nation. Yeah, so I have to talk to that. And the other, like if the people in at risk in that situation, that for example, a child abuse and then the offender still living in the same situation, in same house or same area, and it could harm the others, you have to report immediately, call the police or for our child protection officer. That's we call Department of Justice and DCJ, Community and Justice. Remember, your role is to listen, support, protect, and follow policy. You are not the investigator. Safety always comes first. Right, I think that is the do and don'ts in the and now we're gonna run through the fun part of this. Gonna get some volunteer. So let's say
I'll help out.
the people in online as well. Ellen
We
and
don't have sound, so.
Sorry, they can't talk to us.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So that means we're gonna send you all the all the document that I've been talking today to you. The last one I wanna mention that please check your working with children card in our community, and if you do ministry, please, if it expired, please renew it. For example, if you're in prayer team at mass, you definitely have to have that. Go to summer school and then you volunteer to do any role at summer school, definitely have the working with children card. And in New South Wales, you don't have the card, but you're gonna have a paper. They give you the day and they expire normally 5 years. So we do. If we do, that's what else, Light to the Nation as well, or our outreach ministry in the DOJ community. Otherwise, you no need to update it and no need to renew it if you don't do ministry, I reckon. But if the pastoral care, still need to do.
Yeah, certainly. It's probably safe that most people have them, but I say most people, right?
Yeah, it's easy to do all the application form. Just go online, fill all the forms out, and then you might go into a person to do just give them the proof of identification, who you are, give them 3 of that, and they're gonna
It's not hard.
yeah, quickly, very quick to very easy to renew it. So I just asked for 5 volunteers. So 5.
5 from a crowd of 4.
There's more than 4 back here.
I know, I'm just kidding.
You're gonna have to
Thank you.
volunteer
So-
twice.
What we do basically is we just assume all the cases here gonna be Light to the Nation, summer school, and mass, and out here and this school is in this room for our worship. Maybe you want to. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna say whatever in that, and people, we're gonna take turn, or anyone in this room, we respond to the situation. But there's no wrong answer for this time because we're training. We are training, so don't be afraid to respond to the situation. And if you get like not the best way we respond, that's okay. That's how we learn, and that's how we grow in the situation. So I will send out later as well all this example, so we can read it again and know how to respond as well. So the correct response and the incorrect response later in all the cases. That's all learning. So there's no, don't be afraid that you're gonna get. Before we do that, I just wanna hand out again all this one for the. Isn't it? Yes. I give you this and then you give me back later. Can you share with Sulin gonna be a first? Who is number 1? Sorry. Okay, number 1. Case study number 1.
The prayer team, a 12-year-old quietly tells me, sometimes I don't eat dinner because mum forgets. I'm really hungry.
Greg laughs. Thanks, Greg.
So in summer school, and the child 12 years old, the boy or girl, whatever, whoever, come up and talk to you in summer school. Sometimes I don't eat dinner because mom forgets. I'm really hungry. So what is your response?
I'm going to get you some food. Yeah. That's right. Let's give you something to eat. Well, anyway, let's feed him first, right?
You have to take them seriously and listen to it and get them to tell you a little bit more maybe about what they mean to clarify, and then you follow your hierarchy up. So whoever's the leader of the event, you would go and have a word to them and get their advice on what to do further, because they might have intel into that kid. But you have to take the kid's story seriously, and treat it, because it could be the worst case. Like, you have to keep in mind that it could be the worst case scenario of what that kid's telling you. It might not be, but you have to take it seriously just in case that's what it is.
Yeah, can I ask too, where's the difference then between just asking a couple of clarifying questions versus don't investigate? Because it says you're not an investigator.
Right. So when the anyone who come to you and like disclose about their situation, you have to identify what a child abuse first. Yeah. So this situation is the neglect. Neglect. That means the child get the abused, physically abused. So they are let hungry, or you might skin whole, like physically you can't see whole thing, but you can see like their arm or their face might have bruise or something. That so you can say, can you tell me more about that? Like, why are you hungry? Or so they say, I'm really hungry. You can ask them, tell me more about that. Why are you hungry? So they will tell you more about the situation. Because some child is like naughty sometimes. They don't want to eat dinner, and then they come to you and say, Mom don't cook dinner. But actually, Mom cook dinner. But then they don't want to eat, and they say, Mom don't cook dinner, because that's not their favorite food. So they come in and say, I don't have dinner because Mom didn't give me. And so like you have to go more further to see the clarification, the whole situation.
I think that investigating would be, if you think about what an investigator would do, investigating would be going outside of the parameters of what they've told you.
Right.
So say if that
going to their house to check it out.
Say if that kid has told you, Mum's not feeding me, and you say, and you've got bruises on you. What are those bruises about? They haven't told you about those bruises. They're not telling you anything about that. That could be something you observe, but that's now investigating. Or someone tells you about one particular incident that happened when they were a kid. It's not your role to say, did that happen more than once? You've got enough to go off just that there was this one thing that happened. And if they choose to disclose more, that's on them. But you can't say, did it happen more than once? Because then you could have, and then they say, actually it did. You could have spoilt the investigation by putting that idea into the kid's head.
And you can't say, is it your mom didn't give you dinner and this a bruise in your hand? Is it from your mom as well? Like you can't ask that. You can't give the ideas in their head. Feed the
Do we go on to two? Yeah, to two.
And then they say, please don't tell my mom. Just give me food. Don't tell my mom that I tell you. What are you going to do?
Can't promise.
Can't promise you that. Want to make sure you get some food, champ, so I'm going to have to make sure you get fed again. So we will have to talk to somebody to make sure you get fed.
But I think in some situation you can't even give food for the kid, I reckon.
You can't?
Yeah, if you have to identify that they are, if they're in a neglect situation, it's different with might have allergic with food or, something as well. So have to, I think, go to the...
Okay. All right. Keep going. Should we go to number two?
Number two, please.
Number two is, all right. So, look, we do have a teen discloses AP, sexual abuse case. So, age 14-year-old girl tells you that my friend's older brother touched me. So, she's been touched last week. Then she's scared to tell anybody.
How do you respond to this situation?
Affirm her courage. Well, first I stay calm and not freak out. I then affirm her courage. So I'd probably say something like, really thank you for sharing that. That, it takes courage to share that. And look, I want to make sure that you get some help and assistance in it. So Look, in order for me to help you, I probably would. I will need some support as well, so I will need to talk to some others so we can get you the right assistance, so that you're not going to be scared in the future, and that you don't have to then you don't have to be faced with this situation again.
So this one
I've
is
jumped
you.
through a whole lot of things.
It's wonderful, good response. But this we have to identify this case is this one you already cited sexual abuse. That means it's all the abuse is so serious, but this one is very serious because it's happened right now. It's like the neglect would happen for a long time, but this one happened right now. So what you do, report immediately for the anyone in authority in court of police for child protection and ensure that child not return to the risk environment. So for example, you can't say, oh, you go home, I'm gonna ensure that person not gonna touch you again. No, you can't promise that. Or have you say, I'm gonna call the police for your situation and make sure the police gonna protect you and separate the offenders, the one who did it for you. So so but in all that response, you have to stay calm and respect.
I can ask questions, and it's not investigating. Just say, well, is the older brother? Do you see him regularly? I can ask that question, can't I? So do you see
It's
the
not really relevant. You're
So-
just asking about the one incident.
Right, okay then. So that's
And
investigating.
you can't even ask, what did he do for you?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't ask that. But it's more around.
Should she
she's,
go
she's,
home? Do you live with
correct.
him at the moment?
That's what I'm trying to work. Is it she immediately at risk right
Yeah.
now if she goes
Yeah.
back home? Maybe that's the question. I say, okay, so if you went back home immediately, are you at risk?
Yeah, or if he's in her dorm at some
Yeah.
school or something like that.
Yeah, correct. That's what, if in those sort of environments. Just to make sure what at level of risk. She might see him once a year for all I know, right? So that's what I'm trying to work out. Are you at risk right now if you go home, right?
True. Yeah, that's good.
So I can ask that question.
Yeah, where is he now?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can ask that, where is he now?
Sure.
So that because she said that last weekend. So see him at last weekend. So
Yeah.
when you can ask where is he now. So you identify the situation, the place where they are.
Yeah.
So number 3, please.
A 16-year-old quietly reveals, sometimes I hurt myself when I feel overwhelmed, but please don't tell anyone.
Identify the situation.
Self-harm.
Okay. What we gonna respond?
You have to report. You have to tell them that you have to report. You have to tell them that you'll have to report it because they've harmed themselves, and then they're underage, right? So it is a reportable matter. You have to tell whoever's in charge of the ministry or the leader, and you're also going to have to tell their parents because they're underage.
Do we need to understand what they're talking about first, though?
Yeah, we can ask the question. So what do you mean by that, Sulin? What do you mean by you have to understand the...
Well, to understand what they mean when they say I hurt myself. Does it matter?
Yes. So with the suicide, people committed to the suicide, you can ask them. So do you direct question? Like, do you think about you gonna harm yourself like suicide? How do you do it? You have to ask them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they will tell you their plan. So all of that. So you can go and ask, how do you gonna do it?
So would I ask in the situation, what do you mean by hurt yourself?
Yes, you can
What
ask
do you
them
mean
that,
by-
and then they said, yeah, I'm cut my wrist, or I'm gonna take the bills, and it like you ask them, how do you do it? When were you gonna do it? Or the plan in their head, they're gonna say it out loud. But also provide a reassurance, and emotional support for them when you talk to them. Because that in a very...
So then how do you determine what is serious and not serious then if you ask them what do they mean by that?
And they will tell you.
But-
and then you can't keep promise that you keep secrets. You have to say that I'm gonna report. I'm gonna tell your parents, and I'm gonna tell the police or anyone in.
Is there a situation though where they might say something that you actually determine is not actually self-harm?
Yeah, but that's not gonna be your job. After you ask and then you report for the leadership and in that ministry, or the teacher at a school, or any authority in that ministry. Like for example, we talk about summer school, so we're gonna talk to Berna.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell Berna or your
child protection person.
child protection. To tell them about that is the situation and everything information I get.
So
that
the
I got
purpose
now.
of asking is for a bit more information rather than for determining is it a reportable issue or not. So you're always going to report.
Yeah, you still say for the child protection person about that. Okay. I think the last one. Oh no, number 4.
Can we do can we do just one more?
One more.
Okay, is that all right?
Case study number 4, please.
That one's
So we will do a last one.
So it's the
On the last one.
32-year-old who says during pastoral care that when they were a child they were abused and they haven't told anyone before. And so because the person's over 18, the disclosure is up to them to make. It's not a mandatory report, but you have to talk to them and encourage them, if other children are at risk, to maybe encourage them to bring the report forward, and to go through a particular process. And you just kind of make sure that they're okay, and you can't share the story without their consent, unless that someone is in danger. So some of the questions you might be asking is, where's the person now? Like you'd be trying to work out, is there someone in danger? Because if someone is in danger, you might need to breach their confidentiality and make a mandatory report if it was someone that potentially still has access to children, or that kind of thing. But yeah, most of the time with an adult, it's got to be their decision to bring the story forward, unless there's someone's in danger.
If there's no one in danger in Disciples of Jesus, what's our policy in terms of us having to report it then? So you find out no one's in danger, maybe it's historical, whatever.
You can ask the question for this person that, did you report it for the police, or still the offender still living in this around your, like for example like uncle or father or whoever in the house, or mother or auntie, whoever in that, still living in the same roof and still might be lead someone in at risk situation.
So you'd write it down in this report form about the fact that you didn't report it, and you'd say why, and then you've got it on file. So if there'd be a question, you'd say this is why.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, but still report it.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth every situation we should report it after the consulting with the leader and the child protection officers in the community. So after talking about that, you write a report and send it, and we're gonna decide it whether we go further or how we gonna deal with the situation. But remember, in the dangerous situation that people at risk, report immediately for the police without going to so this one is only for, that's just few cases that we might encounter, but I hope we don't have any encounter for any of this situation in our ministry. So for example, the other thing that we have to be aware, if mass here, and after mass we do a prayer ministry, prayer team, and the kids underage come to you and say, I want you pray for me. And with the parent there, you might ask the permission from the parent, or you invite the parents into the prayer, in the team, in the prayer as well, if the children okay with that. If not, you just go to parent and ask them, your children want the prayer ministry, and is that okay for us to pray for them? All done. Thank you so
very
much.
Joy. Very good.